We're on a bit of a road trip today, heading out to Nagano to see an Aussie guy who's bought and renovated an Akia and converted it into a cafe and English school. So in this video we'll meet Steve, talk about how he and his wife Kumiko bought this old Japanese house that came with over 2 acres of farmland, and how he recently became a registered farmer in Japan, which is not such a straightforward process. We'll also meet some of his neighbours, and I ate an Aussie burger. Nagano is about a 3-hour drive from my house. It's in the mountains to the west of Tokyo.
Hey Steve, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you guys. How you doing?
I had a mortgage in Australia. I was working in the kitchen. I've got a background working in the kitchen. We're getting a little bit tired of it. My wife's family's getting older. Yeah, I just needed a change. I mean, I've never been one to always stay in the same place. I've lived in quite a few areas. Search was a colder area. We didn't want hot areas because I'm not the fittest of men, as you can see. And I really suffer in hot weather, so I tried living in a hot temperature environment in Queensland in Australia. I'm from Sydney originally and I didn't like it. Moved down to Tassie, I really liked it there. And Nagano is a similar climate. So it's coldish in winter and it's warm enough in summer. So the outside I haven't done yet. So this is just the old bamboo and dirt, and that's the whole house. It's roughly around 2-3 inches thick.
How old is the house?
1884 was built. So this was 10 years after Japan opened up. I don't know, around 20 years after Japan opened up, Meiji period.
So how long ago did you come to Japan?
2 years, 2 months, roughly.
And then when did you buy this place?
The first month I was here. We contacted the local councils in the main cities, and some replied back with sort of like a fixer for the council. So they'd send us their contact number and then we'd contact them, and then they would be able to give us more information of actually Akias that weren't on the market. We wouldn't be able to find online. So that's definitely the best resource, is to contact the local government, and normally they have a representative that handles these things. The guy that I was put onto, he knew properties that weren't advertised, properties that may be coming on the market, properties that have, would suit our criteria. He took us around in his vehicle and showed us a couple of properties that fitted our criteria. There were some that obviously weren't, so we didn't spend our time there because we wanted to have a cafe inside the house, like we've got here. So some houses were too small, some didn't have parking areas, so it was quite easy for us to eliminate the ones that weren't going to work. So we basically put it down to 3, and this is one we chose. So we made a decision that day.
Okay, so you got this place, and so you wanted to set up a cafe,
Yeah.
and you've also set up an English school here.
Yeah, so it's not actually a school, it's a conversation, practice basically thing. A lot of people come into the cafe and it's because it's owned by an English speaker as well. I open that 4 nights a week, and I open the cafe 4 days a week, but I've gone just to weekends because I'm planning to start my farming up, because when we bought the property, it came with farmland that we didn't even know about when we bought it, and it was just an absolute bonus on settlement day, and I couldn't believe it. I thought there'll be an 1,100 square metre block. I thought that's what the building's on, and they said it was roughly 400 subo, which is 1,100 to 1,200 square metres. And I thought, great, that's all I need, you know. But when we went to settlement, the paperwork come through and there was 2 pages of titles there, and I'm looking at it because it's all in numbers. I mean, it's not Japanese, and I'm looking at 400 square metres, 2,000 square metres, 1,500 square metres, and I'm thinking they got the wrong paperwork. And the guy from the council representative was with us at settlement too, you know, good guy. And he said, "Oh, this is all attached to the thing," and I couldn't believe it. Kumiko, my wife, said, "What's going on here?" And like, "Oh no, this comes with it." And I'm like, "Oh my God," because you wouldn't even get a square inch of land in Australia unless you pay for it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because it was amazing. And then after we got back, and after a couple of months, you know, I'm looking through and I'm trying to find it on the map. They don't give you like a map. That's where it is, and it's been surveyed. It doesn't work like that to say, well, that's it and you can go and find it. Literally. So we went to the titles office and got that folio, you know, the number and everything, and then you pay, I think it's $20, and they give you where it is, and then you've got to find it. So some had no access at all. It's just too steep. It was a liability. You don't want it. But I mean, you get it anyway. And then I got 2 really prime blocks, which is across the road. One's half acre, going to grow corn on it, and the other one I'm going to grow wheat on.
And this is the last of this crop, but we've had different crops in, obviously, different times. So that's what we got at the moment. Corn over here. This got raided yesterday. All the corns, I think there's not much left now. I think got about 20 cobs off there. This is to stop the monkeys. The monkeys know when the corn's ready. So only takes 3 or 4 to slip through the net and everyone gets raided.
So where is the monkey net?
The monkey fence goes all the way around,
okay.
yeah. Okay. But they slip through. You get some monkeys jump better than others, I suppose. So you get some through, and you get a lot of bears as well. So we had a bear, I think, 10 days ago that come through here. As you see, the path is not big enough really to get a K-truck down here. So that's why I'm going to put this into a wheat field, so I don't have to come down here as often. So I think better to come up here. So what you're seeing aren't trees, they're weeds. So 6 months ago, you could actually see the ground. So I debedded this, and this has just come up in the 6 months. That's how crazy it is. So this is 2,000 square metres. So half an acre, nice. This area here. You can't see it obviously because of the weeds.
So we had farmland attached, and then you've got the issue is you can't own farmland unless you're a farmer, which comes back to your question. But the way it works is I buy everything off the previous owner, and if I don't normalise my licences, then whatever land I'm not entitled to goes back to the original owner. So if the price is $10 for everything, but I can't become a farmer, the price is still $10, but those blocks of land go back to the original owner. They never get transferred into my name. So they'll transfer, say there's 10 titles, they'll transfer 7 I'm eligible for. So the residential, the vegetable field, things I'm allowed to have without a license. Now the ones without a license, I've got to obtain the license. So you've got to go basically to, it's like a farming committee, and you've got to present your case. So you can't just say I want to be a farmer and they give you a farming license, because they want to make sure you do it responsibly. So if you've got a person with an apple operation, you know, and then your land is next to his, they want to make sure that you've got the knowledge to use the right spray so you don't damage their crops. So, and then they've got to make sure that you've got the right attitude, that you're not going to go against the wishes of all the people in the area and maybe jeopardise their economic interests. So they won't grant you a license unless they have some sort of confidence that that you're going to be a benefit and not a liability. So a lot of people might come up with the thing, well, why can't I get a license? Well, that's the exact reason why some people can't get a license. They don't have the right attitude of why that system's in place. So the actual committee system, while it sounds a little bit strange, when if Australia you buy a block of land, it's yours, you can do what you want, but this system has a lot of benefits too. So you put your proposal through, what you're going to grow, possibly where you're going to sell it. I'm going to have like a veggie stand, I'm going to sell it in my cafe, what types of fruits, because you might grow something that becomes a pest later on, you know. So these sort of things they need to know. It's not because they want to stop you or that they don't like you, or they actually want to help you in a way, you know. They don't want to see barren fields and lots of weeds everywhere. They want people to work the field, but it has to be done the right way. So a lot of people have the wrong impression, I think, speaking with foreigners about why that system's in place. So we propose, okay, we're going to grow tomatoes, we're going to grow this, we're going to grow this for the cafe, which I use for the ingredients in the cafe. Well, all that's the standard vegetables. There's no issue with it. Now, there's a set amount of land you need, so you can't become a farmer with 50 square metres of land, because that's not going to work. So I think for this area, don't quote me, 2.5 acres, 10,000 square metres is the minimum. And if everything falls into place and it looks like, you know, you're going to do the right thing, it's actually not a hard process. You come up, there's like a panel of 6 or 7 original gangster farmers that know everything. You put the plan together, and they might say that's a great plan, they might say it's terrible, or can you fix this? But if you're doing it the right way, you've already spoken to them before you go to the meeting. You're not going to go in there totally cold and that's what I'm going to do. That's what someone that doesn't know what the way it works would do. So you'd be already talking to people, I'm planning to do this, they give you a little bit of advice. And once you go in the meeting, everything's cordial, everyone's drinking tea, and then you get your license. It's not really a big deal.
So this is the neighbour across the road's apple farm. Okay, so this is it. So this is roughly 40 metres by 40 metres, something like that.
What are you going to do here?
This is going to be mainly corn. So with the corn I want to do like polenta dishes. So I'll do maybe half corn and the other half just use it as a veggie garden. Or I was thinking artichokes. I thought about olives, but there's a wait time, you know.
Yeah, how long do olives take to bear fruit?
Usually 7 years. And although I like olives, I don't eat that many of them. And I think,
you only need so many for the pizza.
yeah, and I think in the future, I think it'll be popular in Japan, olives. So I think it's a good thing to get into. I don't think I have the area to be serious about it anyway. But yeah, so I have to come through here with a tractor, I'd say.
The house is 130 years old, roughly. Now, that was lived in for 80 years straight, and it's been abandoned for the last 50 years. But it wasn't abandoned technically. The owner moved to Tokyo, and they would pay a local person to come in, open up the windows, take the cobwebs away every couple of months, just to keep a minimum of maintenance. So the building never become derelict. So it was this is why there's not that many of this age, because most of the time they're not maintained, even minimally, and end up getting bulldozed. So this one was still salvageable, which you'll see in the video later.
Yeah.
And then we renovated it. So it's been technically 50 years.
Unoccupied.
Yeah, unoccupied.
For 50 years.
Sometimes it had some furniture in it, and they'd come occasionally for a holiday, but that was few and far between apparently. So they come up maybe once every decade or something, and they just come and whatever. Someone would look after the trees that they'd paid to do, and a lot of the locals actually used to come and grab all the vegetables because they were told to, please take it because we're not here, and that's why we've got such a great variety of native vegetables because they were looked after actually by the community. It was a place where people would go and grab them.
When I saw the view, every night, I mean, you'll see it tonight.
The lights of Nova, no?
It's beautiful, you'll see it. Yeah. And every month there's a fireworks display in Nagano. And the Hanabi goes up and it's awesome.
Yeah.
And can I ask how much you paid for it?
American dollars?
Yeah.
Yeah, American dollars, 28,000.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And that's all. Initially, you thought 1,100 square meters.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the house. Okay. It's such a good location.
Yeah. Out of the three, there was another one where the house was slightly better. It was a little bit. It was younger. It was like 85 years old. This has the view. I mean, there was no really decision to make. I got the local carpenter to come and just do a last check, and he just come through, and he said that he actually wanted to buy it, but he didn't.
And did you do the renovations yourself?
No. So I got a quote to local guys. One of them owns a restaurant, actually a pizza shop as well, and he's very handy. He's got a DIY business, and he does reform, they call it here. So reform renovation. So he does the work with his friend, and the licensed professionals like electricians, plumbers, he would call in and do that part of the job. So I got a quote for him to do what you can see here, except a few other things I'll add in later that was done after. And the renovation was about 44,000. So that was basically everything except putting the air conditioners in, the 2 bedrooms, the wood stove, the oven I made a year later after that. We had to put in the Swiss and toilet, which is the mains sewage in. So the sewage was about 10 to 12,000, 11-ish thousand. Wood stoves are super expensive here. So wood stove was about 6,000, and the Intotsu, the flue, was similar price.
Yeah,
Similar. Maybe I think it was maybe it could have even been more. Might have been 7,000 for the flue.
Yeah, because we got the same stove. Pretty much.
You got my one opens from the middle, your opens from the side.
Yeah.
Same size, same company.
Same brand. Yeah.
So I think that was about 12-ish all up, and the kitchens for the cafes is another expense because you need 2 kitchens. So we had a big kitchen being cut in 2/3 and a third. So 1/3 separate kitchens, kitchenette they call it in Australia, like a little apartheid kitchen, and that's what we use for the house. And the other 2/3 is the commercial kitchen. So there's an extra expense because that needs an exhaust. So that was 5,000 or 6,000, and then you need the proper vinyl flooring, and then proper refrigeration, a few things. So I think all up, everything I've spent could be around about 130,000, but that is having a cafe as well. And the car park. So I had to expand the car park. So I had to bring the machines in and get the gravel and do that properly. So I think the car park was about 5,000 or 6,000 as well. So all up, it's around about 130,000. but that does include the bathroom. The bathroom is the original, and that's getting one of those top door whole bathrooms, where you walk in, unit bath, and we're saving up now, and 2 months hopefully we'll have the money. So I didn't want to borrow any money. I had a small house that I built in Tassie, had quite a big mortgage on it. Prices went up a little bit because a lot of people moved to the countries, moved to Tassie from Sydney and various places. So there was a rise in property value, and I thought this is a good time to sell. So that money that I had after I sold it was $140,000, which I had cash after the bank was repaid. That was cash, and that's what I could spend when I came here. So that was like the total budget, the end, and that's like putting furniture in and everything you need to do, and obviously you're not working while you're doing this, so you're spending that as well.
So you built the pizza oven yourself? Yeah,
so I designed it, I built it, well, I can give you the photos later. So I put in all the base, and then when I was doing the brickwork, because I'm not a bricklayer, I'm super slow. I'm slow anyway, I'm very slow DIY, but it was getting really slow. I was breaking a lot of bricks. I was, you break 10 bricks, that's $30, Do that a few times, you're better to help a bricklayer lay them. So I got a guy, he helped me for 4 or 5 days with the bricks. I was mixing up the mortar and just telling him exactly where to put them, and then I'd point them out, and then we do the intotsu together. But yeah, this guy's just can do it blindfolded, so it's just a lot easier to do. So I had help actually with the brickwork. So I've worked with a few brick ovens in Australia, in pizza shops. So plus a lot of online forums, to get some tech details. But I know what I wanted because I've worked in ovens that don't have the right ratios. So you'd be working in front of an oven that doesn't have the right ratio of arch. So working in front, you get too hot. One, where the door's too low, you get too much smoke. So if there's an actual science with the ratios of the Pompeii oven, that's a Pompeii design. So if you don't get the ratios correct, you end up with all sorts of problems. And because it's inside, if you don't get it right, you can have a room full of smoke every day.
ピザはどうですか？
美味しいです。でも毎回食べても美味しい。
How's the local community?
Best, yeah. So I think a lot of people get off on the wrong foot in country areas. You've got to see things from their perspective, and if you don't, you're not going to enjoy yourself. So, I mean, it's great here. Everybody's farmers. Everybody's been here generationally, and you have to ingratiate yourself to them. So in the Western culture, when you move into a new area, the local neighbours will come over with scones and cream. That's our way. Whereas the Japanese culture, you move in to their area. So when you come, you buy a small gift and give it to them. So it's just a different way of thinking of things. If you want to come in and do things your way and be a farmer and do things your way, you can, but you're going to be a very lonely person. And you're not going to be happy, so why bother?
持ってってくださいね。これだけ。あれ
これみょうがという。
そう、みょうがです。
美味しいです。
美味しいですか。
うまい
よかった。
Shinobu-san is a regular customer and student at Tamanoie. She also farms traditional Japanese vegetables and runs this guest house.
It's an Aussie burger calzone.
Okay, for those that don't know what an Aussie burger is, so we've got slow cooked beef, would normally be a beef patty, bacon, fried egg, tomato, lettuce and beetroot with some tomato sauce. So whenever I go back to Australia, I have an Aussie burger. So this is the closest thing I've had since I've come to Japan. That's so good. So this is not on the menu here, but if you quote Tokyo Llama and order the calzone Aussie burger, Steve will make one for you. I really recommend it.